Hi, and welcome to this edition of Fedmail. Good to see you on this Friday afternoon. Hope you are staying cool. It has now turned from spring to summer here in New England, and a hot one at that. But rest assured, our congregations have terrific air conditioning. So if you are headed to services, and you should be, you'll feel nice and cool and enjoy the friendship and camaraderie of our great community members at our awesome institution. So little plug for our synagogues. See you there. It has been a tough week. First of all, on the eve of Shavuot, there was an attack, again, another attack on Jewish community members, this time in Boulder, Colorado. Boulder being regularly found on lists of best places to live in America. People love Boulder. People love visiting Boulder. This group was out trying to raise awareness for the hostages. They get together on a weekly basis and run or walk. In fact, there are groups just like it in our own community who are doing this in Shrewsbury on a weekly basis. And a pro-Palestinian activist who had certainly been incited by the propaganda out there attacked these participants, these runners and walkers, with Molotov cocktails. 15 of them were injured, one seriously. A woman had to roll on the ground to put out the fire. The attacker had uploaded to social media a rant about Zionism and has been in the country illegally. It's just a tragic story, and it really is shocking. In fact, I'd say it's very frustrating because over the last 19 months, leaders from Jewish communities around the country have been raising the alarm about the level of propaganda out there and the extremism in the anti-Israel dialogue that we hear. It's not even dialogue, anti-Israel position. At the heart of so many of the riots, the protests. It's really horrific. And we saw it in a small form at Worcester State University last spring, where audience members shouted down, pulled the fire alarm to keep an IDF first responder from speaking. And the very next day, if you checked out social media, there were people, faculty members, in fact, from area universities who were cheering them on, congratulating them for doing that. We saw what happened at Worcester City Hall. There were protests that have taken place in the city of Worcester where people have said absolutely horrific things, like saying that October 7th was justified. And undoubtedly, first of all, those who have a public platform need to be responsible with what they say. All of us do, whether it doesn't matter what side of this issue we're on, we need to speak responsibly. But second to that, it does nothing to further the idea or goal of having peace. And if we want to have peace in the region, we want to have prosperity, we certainly need to be mindful of the way we are talking about these things. And I'm using the collective we because I think that our community, I congratulate us on continuing to have a very thoughtful approach to all of this. This has been a grueling 19 months. I think that the comments that I've heard from many community members are really sensitive and, again, thoughtful about the approach to the war, the way Netanyahu and his government sometimes speak about it, and our hope that we see a peaceful, prosperous, and successful future. And we need to hold particularly those with a public platform accountable in this, whether there are local elected officials or at City Hall or federal level officials or just public voices we find on social media. Too much of it for far too long as it relates to this conflict has just been, one, counterfactual and two, counterproductive. So I'll leave it at that, but I hope that in the wake of this attack, people wake up and realize that they need to be responsible with what is being said. So I'll keep it at that. I want to let you know some good news. This week we gathered to discuss our allocations. That would be the process for dividing up the funds that are raised during our annual campaign. And our annual campaign has raised about $800,000, slightly under that. The funds are divided among a number of our local community institutions, with a portion also going to Jewish Federations of North America, which helps to support Jewish communities around the world and in Israel. But primarily and predominantly, those funds are kept right here in our local community to support things like the JCC and the JCC's Film Fest and Author Series, to wonderful projects that take place on a yearly basis. Also, of course, supports our Hebrew schools, making sure that our young Jewish students get a great education here, and we help support that. We also help support Jewish summer camp experiences, Clark Hillel, so a lot of that in the way of young people, but also our seniors too, and of course those in need. So I want to thank you again for giving so generously, and we look forward to continuing to grow our outreach, our efforts, and our support. And I also should mention PJ Library. PJ Library, we have 500 families subscribing to PJ Library in our community. Those are young people who are getting on a monthly basis a Jewish content book, and how great is that? Helps build Jewish identity. But I've gone on far enough. Just wanted to let you know. We'll give out more information about that in the coming weeks. All right, want to let you know what is coming up. First of all, this Sunday, going back to our concerns, there is a March to End Jew Hatred taking place in Boston. That's Sunday, June 8th. We have a flyer down below in Fedmail. I'd love to see people carpool there. I don't think we'll be able to provide transportation from Worcester at this late date. End Jew Hatred is a group we've partnered and worked with over the last, again, several years. And they're putting together this program in the wake of all that has happened. Also on the 8th, Beth Israel is having a tag sale. This has been in Fedmail for some time. I think that they've put a lot of thought and planning into it, so check it out. On the 10th, we're saying goodbye to our Shlicha Mayan. We're getting together at the Rosenhands home at 6:30 p.m. That's this coming Tuesday night, so stop by to say bye to Mayan before she heads back to Israel. Mayan, always welcome here, and we can't wait to see you over there too. Then we've got Sheer Joy with a concert on the 15th and Jewish Heritage Day on the 17th. Can't wait to see you at the ballpark. It's so nice that we are able to have this Jewish Heritage Day at that awesome Polar Park right here in Worcester. It's awesome to hear Sheer Joy sing Hatikva at the beginning of the game. You see some fun first pitches, and I think we'll have some representation from the consulate there for it, hopefully. And we look forward to seeing you there. But in the meantime, Shabbat Shalom. Hope you're doing well. Stay safe and keep in touch. Bye-bye.